When did I start with photography? I think if you go through all my family photo albums, you can see pictures of me with a little disposable camera from about the time I was starting to walk. When I started to actually take it seriously as, I guess, as an art form and something that I'd like to pursue as a way of, I guess, telling stories. Probably about 5 years ago, I came across, actually there was one photo book in particular that really got me interested in photography as something that I could maybe do as a profession and as an art form, and that was The Solitude of the Ravens by Fukasi, Japanese photographer. I found it it was at Value Village of all places. I got it for $3, and I started thumbing through the pages and I just fell in love. And yeah, that was probably the moment, if there was like any sort of eureka moment. As far as photographic works go, I've had a couple other shows in Winnipeg actually. Nothing, I guess, as professional as this. One was a pretty small little gallery. Some guy that I ran into at a carnival ran it, and he commented on my camera, and we started talking. Like, yeah, you should have a show. So it was, it wasn't quite as nice as Lou's, I'll say that. But it was a lot of fun, and met some great people through that one. Showing some of my films in different parts of the world. I was studying in Copenhagen, studying documentary filmmaking. So that was, I guess, probably the extent of my other shows. This is the first major one, I'd say. Yeah, I got involved in this project through Dr. Ann Stahl at ExhibitVic. She's an archaeologist and ethnohistorian who'd been working in the area for, I think, something like 30 years. And that was actually one of the main things I was doing over there, was working on an archaeological project. I guess that's how I paid my dues to do the photography and work on a film. I guess about 2 years ago, when Anne was over there before this last trip, she was approached by Bui, the village of Bui, and they asked her if she could bring a student in that had some sort of filmmaking and documentary experience to try getting the word out there about the situation with the dam. They felt really that they had no voice within their government in Ghana, even within, I think, within their local government. So they had asked for somebody to come in and kind of just document their last days as a way of raising a bit of awareness and just having their voices heard. Yeah. The idea for the photography kind of came, that one didn't have one sort of eureka moment. That one had a lot of different ones. Originally I was taking a lot of sort of square format landscapes of just these shots of the village that were just void of people, and I think just these very bland, drab cultural landscapes in a way. They were purposely like quite flat and desolate looking. I think what really captivated me when I first got there, before I really started interacting with the people and getting to know them on a personal level, was just looking around me and walking and looking down at the ground and thinking that this was all going to be underwater one day. I'm quite happy with some of those photographs. They're more in line with a lot of the work that I kind of continue to do right now, but they weren't exactly the right types of photographs for telling their story. I think they're very specific as far as the people who could appreciate them. I think they're for photo geeks only, I guess. They're not the most, that sort of cultural landscape photography, as much as I love it, it's not the most accessible, I'd say. And the idea with this project was, for the photos at least, was to raise awareness and to actually act as a fundraiser to hopefully provide some sort of additional compensation for these people. So that's kind of where the idea of getting involved in a more traditional sort of portraiture style came from. The series is called Sena, which is the local Nafana word for where. What these photographs are about is that underlying question that has been haunting them for for generations now. They've known for a long time that this dam was going to be built. Actually, since the 1920s, there's been speculations that it would be a good location. It was actually being built in the 1960s, I believe it was, and construction halted after, due to some political reasons in the country. And now it started up again, and they still don't know that answer to the question where. So that's really the heart of the photographs, is that question, and that's everything that I've done with them, is trying to get the viewer to think about that question of location. It's all about removing the environment as much as possible. There's still a glimpse of it, though. It's not just these aren't just photographs about people. They're not just portraiture for portraiture's sake. They're about that relationship between the people and the river, which you see in the reflection. And in a way, it becomes a memory of this place, the river that they get water from, that they pray at, that is so important to them. For the fundraising efforts, all of the proceeds after costs are going back to Bui in some shape or form. I've started up an organization called Friends of Bui, which you can follow online. We've got a blog now, and what we're going to do with the money really depends largely on how much is raised in the end. We had a number of consultations with different villages that are being displaced about what it is that they'd like to see added, that the government and basically what they're not getting compensated for already. And one of the things that they were really interested in is pursuing some sort of education that would allow them to practice new forms of agriculture. They're getting forced onto smaller plots of land. They're being told that the rotational farming isn't going to be a possibility anymore. They're being told they're going to have to learn how to use, agricultural chemicals, to herbicides and things like that, which are things they have no training in, or really any money for. So one of the options for fundraising is trying to provide some sort of help with alternative agriculture. Big problem over there also with the agriculture and is food storage. So that's another option, is trying to invest in some sort of better dehydration systems and things like that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going so far. The show's been pretty well received here in Victoria. The opening was well attended, and beyond Victoria, it's been better than I could ever imagine. International Photography Awards this year have given me the award for 2010 non-professional person photographer of the year, and first in the portraiture category as well. And I'm up for the 2010 Discovery of the Year award in October. I'll find out. Fingers crossed. Yeah, other than that, it's been really well received. I've entered about 4 or 5 different competitions, and I'm doing well. I'm batting 3 for 4 right now, so I'm happy that the word's getting out there about the people of Bui, and look forward to the future. Yes, before I go, I'd just like to thank everybody who's made this project possible. There's been a lot of people who've helped out. Quentin and Diana here at the gallery, Ann Stahl, Dr. Andrea Walsh, a lot of the people at ExhibitVic that have just they've been so good, and most of all the people of Bui who showed up in way greater numbers than I expected, and were just the kindest and most sharing people I've ever met. They were great to work with. I'm not a portrait photographer, and now I want to be one, I think, because of these people.